Hi, my name is William Wood, creator of the Max Performance Master Course and co-creator of the Lifestyle Profits Academy. I help entrepreneurs take their personal and professional performance to the next level by helping them reach their goals and live their dream lifestyle. Today, I will be continuing my discussion about what I consider to be the cornerstone of ethical influence. We will be talking about the power of listening. So if you want to increase your influence in your personal or professional life, pay careful attention to the content I share with you today. When you leave a comment below this post, you will automatically be entered into a contest to win a copy of the book, Just Listen. Discover the Secret to Get Through to Absolutely Anyone by Mark Goulston, who talks about the power that listening has to influence others. All you need to do to win your free copy of Goulston's book is post a meaningful comment immediately below after listening to today's episode. One person who leaves a meaningful comment below this post will win a free copy of Just Listen. Discover the secret to get through to absolutely anyone. If you are chosen, we will ship the book directly to your home or business at no cost to you. Now, let's dive into the second part of this secret recorded conversation that Christian Westerfelt and I had on the power of listening in 2015. As I listen to my clients, I'll hear a lot of the same thing. It's like, yeah, man, I can tell anything to my spouse. But man, my daughter, I don't know if I can talk to my daughter. Last night I was talking to a guy who said, I'm really having a hard time talking to my mom and my brother because of some things that have happened. And so, I look at that and there's a high desire, I think, to connect, but maybe a low level of safety. But what about you, Christian? How would you define listening?
One of the things that you're talking about is building a rapport and establishing a relationship of trust. Without that relationship of trust, an individual is not going to feel comfortable or confident that what you're going to say is actually going to be heard. Part of the safety is that information is not going to, at some later point, be used as arsenal to attack them.
Right.
Use their story as a means to undermine who they are. And so what you're really trying to do in creating that safety, how do you create that safety, is that you are establishing respect and love. And respect and love, ultimately, they disarm any and all hostility.
Right.
And part of that process through genuine, and that's the unconditional love and acceptance, the unconditional positive regard. You are who you are, and I accept you. That doesn't mean that I accept all of your faulty behaviors. Maybe you're doing something that is really destructive, and I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to establish this rapport, and I'm going to let you know that I respect and love you. But I'm also going to communicate with you at some point that what you're doing right now is ultimately, it's damaging you, it's damaging us. But you also used a really powerful word earlier, and that is to receive.
Yeah.
And part of the reception is literally being willing to, as you said, sit down and to be present. Now,
Right.
One of the things that I find really, really important in the listening skills is to appreciate the individual. So you need to receive the individual, you need to receive the message. You also need to appreciate what is being spoken. And as you are expressing your appreciation, for example, one of my sayings that I usually use is, I really appreciate you sharing that with me. Or, thank you so much for giving me that bit of information, because that helps me better understand where you are coming from.
Sure.
Even if you just use those two phrases, you're going to radically alter your experience in that conversation.
Right.
The person is going to feel like they have been heard.
Yeah.
So part of listening is genuinely appreciating the person and the situation or the circumstances, as well as the message that is being communicated or being shared.
You brought up something that's really interesting. So if we're talking about, the what, we haven't really taken a deep dive into how yet. But if we look at the what of listening, you bring up a good point. What is listening? Listening is not only something that you do. It has a lot to do with who you are as a person. And this really came to me strongly as you were just talking. And, I'm thinking about the process of rapport. Rapport has a short-term technique that can be used, but for long-term rapport, it has a lot to do with your character.
Yeah.
Am I the kind of person that you can trust?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say something that's probably going to sting a little bit for some of you. So you want to probably put your seatbelt on and brace yourself a little bit.
Well, what's that bee sting? Has some kind of a numbing agent to it?
Yeah, right.
So I've got mine.
Yeah, you're going in. You've got your bee suit, and you're going to go into the hive, right? So here we are. I float like a butterfly, but I sting like a bee.
I've got my EpiPen ready. Let's go.
Okay, you ready? So if people are not opening up and talking to you, it is not their fault. If people aren't speaking to you, or if you notice that people are pursing their lips, they're holding back, and they're not sharing with you, it is not them, it's you.
Yeah.
And if your kids won't talk to you, it's not their fault. It's probably your fault.
Right.
If your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or girlfriend is not talking to you the way that you like, it has a lot to do with you. It has a lot, and that may have something to do with your track record in listening and being willing to receive. Are you really willing to receive what it is that they have to say, even if it's not what you want to hear?
That is incredibly powerful. So a couple of things. One, as an undergraduate student, one of my professors, probably one of the most, if not the most influential professors that I've ever had.
Sure.
Super cool, long hair, tattoos all over the place, biggest beard. And if you were to look at him, you would be like, I'm going to go to the other side of the sidewalk. And yet he was also one of the most authentic, genuine therapists in the area.
Right.
And he had true concern and love for everybody that he came in contact with. And what he had said, somebody had asked him, how do you turn off your counseling skills when you go home? And he says, you can't. I am by nature a therapist. That's not just something I can turn on and turn off. I am always on. So it doesn't matter if I'm at work in the office, or if I'm at a picnic, or if I'm at home. It doesn't matter. It's who I am. It's his character. And that's something that I have tried to incorporate into my life. And so a real life experience. And
I think especially if you think about a therapist as an influencer, maybe you're not going to be a therapist at the picnic, therapizing or shrinking, but you're going to be sitting there listening, helping, nudging, steering, guiding, right? Offering support. And again, wherever you are, the way that I think about this is that I am influencing people all the time. Right. In every conversation, in every thought, in every place that I go, I am out influencing. And am I wielding that influence in a helpful way or in a way that's harming? And that has a lot to do with the way that I listen. And there have been times when I've done that more effectively and less effectively. And there's people that are easier for me to listen to and harder for me to listen to. And that has a lot more to do with me than it does with them. It really does.
So I won't get into the details, but I just remember this drive when we were in South Africa about a year and a half ago.
Right.
We were talking about different individuals who are easier to listen to and others who are more difficult to listen to. And the conversation that took place in the car was pretty entertaining. I was concerned about your safety, and I'm glad that you're still alive.
Thank you.
That your mother and your wife and my wife or your sister did not harm your physical well-being. But
I don't remember. I actually don't. You'll have to tell me offline because I don't remember what I said. Evidently, it was entertaining. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was listening. I was listening at the time. I was listening to not only the words that were being spoken, but I was also listening to the behaviors of, the eyes that were glancing, that were darting back and forth between your mother and your wife and your sister. But in any case, so a real life experience, and this really touches on what you were just speaking to in regards to if somebody is not speaking, Why are they not? I mean, I don't want to just say 100% it's your fault. I would say that if somebody is not talking to you, you are playing a huge key role to it.
Right.
But I also think that sometimes an individual
Sure.
may not be speaking to you because they're trying to hide something from you.
Sure.
But regarding that other point, so let me go back. Back in December, my mother had a series of medical complications, and as a result, she almost died, and it was really, really difficult. As of right now, she has far exceeded any and all of the medical expectations and the prognosis that the experts had set. You know, they said that she would never really speak again. She would never use her left arm. She would never be able to stand on her own. And she's doing all of those things. Wow. So I'm just really grateful for the miracle that she has. But last night we had a conference call with the social worker and my mother, and there were a number of other family members that were present. It was really interesting because there has been a relationship of untrust or distrust or mistrust, whichever is the right word to use.
Probably all of them.
Yeah, right. Right. And there's a reason why there are different words, because each one of them carries a different meaning or implication, right? Yeah. So you're right, all of them. The meeting lasted for about an hour and a half, and I'm looking at the list. I have my notebook of all of the questions and concerns that I really wanted to ask, but it was not a safe environment. And as a result, afterwards, how I described it is I feel like I just drank a tall glass of super sugary lemonade. Ugh. Yeah, right. Part of me was satisfied, but I left with a lot more questions and concerns that I had. And so ultimately, at the end, there were a couple of questions and concerns that I did raise. And I had, honestly, it was genuine concern. It's not like I was trying to vilify or, demonize anybody. It was, here's a concern, and I would like to have these questions addressed. And I just felt like, as soon as I asked those questions, it was just immediately the temperature in the room just peaked. What I really learned from that is that the individual who I'm considering here in this particular situation came into this meeting with a predetermined evaluation or assessment of anything that I may say or I may ask. So if I ask anything, it's because I am trying to undermine the situation or I'm trying to take control. So when you enter, part of listening is really, I think the biggest part of listening takes place before the actual conversation takes place. Right. You have to set your intention before. What is your intention? What do you want to do? And so your judgments in advance are going to influence what you're hearing. So if you have this judgment that this person is out to get me, then anything and everything that person says, guess what?
It's all colored by that, right?
Oh, it's totally colored by that. And it's going to jade that. So one of the practices that I work with individuals is to set your intentions in a positive way. So what do I mean by that? Especially when we're trying to focus on the skills of listening, it's my intention is I want to understand you. I want to be able to create a healthy and safe environment where you feel comfortable and confident enough to share with me what is on your mind and what is going on in your life. And my role is not to immediately come out and say, well, hold on a second, you were wrong here and you were wrong there. And of course you ended up in the ditch because you drank too much last night. So my whole intention is understand. And when you enter into a conversation with that intention in mind, I want to understand you. You're going to come away from that understanding.
Right.
So first seek to understand and then to be understood.
Learning to deeply and sincerely listen has helped me totally revolutionize my life in every dimension. Listening has helped me deepen my personal relationships, and it has helped me serve my customers more effectively, which has led to increased business growth and deeper client satisfaction. And I believe it can help you too. If you liked the training you got today, the best way to make sure that you keep on getting daily motivation and inspiration is to scroll to the bottom of this page and enter your name and best email address. When you do, you will subscribe to the Daily Show, which is released 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Most days, you'll hear from David Wood, my financial freedom mentor. 1 day a week, you will hear from me. 5 days a week, you'll get access to more amazing content just like you heard today. In fact, after today, you're going to hear at least a couple more installments about the power of listening and the impact that it can have on your life. You'll also get several bonuses when you subscribe today, including a free MP3 version of my words training. This 50-minute MP3 training teaches you how to use your words to create influence and reprogram your subconscious mind. Clients have paid me as much as $200 to get this information, and now you're getting it free after you enter your name and email address below. When you scroll down and subscribe to The Daily Show, you'll also get a free PDF of today's message that you can print. Reading this message can be a powerful way to reinforce today's success principles deep into your subconscious mind. You'll also get a free audio download of today's message, which you can listen to again and again to absorb these ideas into your subconscious mind. You'll become more powerful on your path to freedom because you're reinforcing the principles that will create the success, freedom, and lifestyle that you really want. I look forward to seeing you again soon next time. This is William Wood, and I believe in you.